Hello, dear friends. Welcome. Welcome to our Mondays together here. I am broadcasting from Richmond, Virginia, here at the Spiritist Society of Richmond, in the heart of the state of Virginia in the USA. And today, it's my pleasure to be talking to you and have a conversation about our homes and how our homes can be a school for souls. As always, you're welcome to write your comments, write your questions. I am able to see. There are some folks live. I unfortunately am not able to see who you are. So if you want to say hi, please do in the comments. I can read your comments. If you have any questions, I hope this will be a very, very productive session for all of us. As always, we're going to start by reading a message. And this message is from the book Happy Life by Joana de Angelis through our dear Divaldo Franco. And message number 186. The home is the family's temple. Children are divine loans for building a blissful future. One should spend as much time as possible with the family, using conversation and setting good examples, making family time the most effective tool for education. The habits acquired in the home last throughout one's life and cross over into the spirit life. To educate is to live with dignity, imprinting family members with life's essential values. Everything you invest in the home will return in kind. Make your home life a workshop where happiness dwells. Following our message, I'm going to invite you to join me on a prayer. And as we are just the day after Mother's Day, and we're talking about homes and families and different aspects of our homes, we'll dedicate our prayer tonight for all the mothers and fathers out there in the world. We encourage everybody to, if they can, it's safe to do so, to close your eyes and repeat mentally the prayer that we're going to do here or anywhere else in the world you are. It's always important to have that mental attunement with the higher spirit. And when we pray together, we augment and we multiply the effects of the prayer. So, shall we? If you're able to do so, close your eyes to remove all the external distractions from our view. Take a couple of deep breaths in, deep breath out, just to get used to the place you are right now in the physical and spiritual bodies. Dear Mother, Father God, tonight, this blessed night of study, we are thankful for your creation. We are thankful for the opportunity of one more incarnation together, one more opportunity of service and of love towards one another. We pray that all of those who may be suffering on the planet Earth and beyond in this entire universe feel your loving presence through the presence of their guardian angels. May we all feel connected, one humanity, learning and loving together, improving ourselves. Our deepest gratitude to the mothers who have sacrificed their lives and loaned their bodies to receive the new souls on the earth. Through their service to humanity, we have the opportunity of growth, progress. We thank you, dear Lord, for the opportunity of studying. We hope that all the spirits that are around us may be helped as well. May they feel your loving kindness be bestowed upon them. May they feel your love pouring from all corners of this universe. May we be a vessel of your will on this planet, and with your permission, always asking for your protection. We begin today's studies, and so be it. Dear friends, welcome, welcome. My name is Shane Martin. Welcome to those near, to those far, to those who are live with me here. And if you're watching this on podcast, know that we are always, always connected together with our Master Jesus and God allowing us to be here. So today we're going to talk a little bit about home. Last week we talked about the gospel at home and the importance of the gospel at home in our houses and how they can be beneficial. Today we're just going to discuss a couple of aspects of being the home being the school for the souls. And we are going to divide this study today in three parts. First, we're going to discuss what is the home, if there's a definition of home, who will be in that home with us, and how can that home be a school for you and I. And as always, we remember that the best exemplification of how to behave in the world is Jesus. And this topic is discussed in detail in the book, Jesus in the Home. Let me make myself a little larger so you can see the book. Jesus in the Home by Neo Lucio Fruchico Xavier. And also we're going to study aspects of 2 chapters of the book, Foreign Life by Emmanuel. And of course, whenever we are together, we're always going to be bringing to you any of the correlations with those works, with the basic works of Kardec. We always go back to Kardec, and none of the things we have going to present today differ from what Kardec brought to us. In the end, we'll talk a little bit about the mission of parents in the home, as found in the Gospel according to Spiritism. So, what is a home? Jesus, in the first chapter of the book, Jesus in the Home, Neo Lucio describes to us that Jesus is staying for the first time in the house of Simon Peter, and they are gathered together to read the scriptures. Remember, Jesus was a Jew, and he was reading the Old Testament at the time with his disciples, just like we talk about doing every week the gospel at home. In that case, he inquires from the apostles some of the things that in our daily lives we do in order to be ready for our professions, for preparing our food, for dealing with others. And in the end of that chapter, he says that the home is the first school and temple of the soul. And then later he's going to say the home is the true exporter of individuals for community lives. And here we have our first concept of the Spiritist doctrine with us, the temple and first school of the soul. In Spiritism, we believe that we are spirits incarnated in the physical body, like you and I in the physical realm. Our friends in the spiritual realm have their spirits and the perispiritual bodies. We have in addition to our physical bodies. So the first concept to discuss would be being a soul, being a spirit that is eternal, that was created by God, and the concept of reincarnation. Because in order for the soul to come back, many times we need to discuss reincarnation. So you're always returning to the flesh in order to fulfill your duties, to rescue, to help one another, our debtors and creditors, and everything that happens in the home. The first school, what do you and I do in school? We learn. So the first opportunity for learning is at home, according to Jesus. That's why it's in quotes. The true exporter for individuals in the community. So each and every home in the world have the characteristics needed by that spirit, and each and every the collective summation of all those homes give out the communities that you and I live in. So this is the first opportunity that a new soul has to learn something new and to be taught by those who we're going to see who's going to be in that home with us later. So that's the first opportunity of learning. So what happens at home can be a vessel of progress. So that's what's very important for us to know of those concepts, because nothing happens at random. So you and I are here for a reason, together for a reason, connected, and then planning our activities around the home, especially now that our homes are the places where a lot of us, if we're lucky enough to have a physical home, are together in quarantine until all the restrictions around the world are lifted. So this is the time that many of us will be interacting with our loved ones in the home, and that's an opportunity for growth and for learning, an opportunity for planning when the spirits are planning to reincarnate, and the parents are planning to have that child. So it's important to know that that place where that child is received is the first school for the soul, the first place of learning. Oh, so who will receive us? In the book Foreign Life, chapter 11, the Creator, Emmanuel, brings to us that heavenly justice, through its mercy, allows a new beginning again, reincarnation. You and I come back as many times as we need in order to progress. And who will receive us? We'll come back and we'll be in touch again. We'll be in contact again. Remember, he's saying again, another time. Our creditors and our debtors for the settlement of debts we had contracted, which are perfectly annotated in the archives of divine laws. What a concept. So not only we have around us through justice and mercy, we have a new beginning. We're allowed to come back. We made mistakes. We did some things that were right, some things that were wrong. We come back. The true blessing of this new life that is with us. Then, who is there to receive us? Creditors and debtors. So, people we have contact with, some people who we treated well, some people we may not have treated as well. And then we all together, we're setting um, those debts. We're working together to progress. And the debts you and I have acquired throughout our lifetimes are perfectly annotated in the archives of divine laws. So we know from the third part of the Spirit's book, there are divine laws that God has created, and you and I are invited to follow God's law by practicing the good. The deviation from the law is called evil. In Spiritism, we prefer the word ignorance. We didn't know better. And those debts, the things we've done, both right and wrong, are archived. And if you go to the Spirit's book, you're gonna, in the Genesis, you're gonna see the archives of our memories are in our spiritual bodies. And when we go back to the spiritual realm, if you read the books of Andrea Louise and Emmanuel, there's a way for us to retrieve those memories, and that's how the reincarnatory planes occur. This picture here on the right is a drawing of a scene from the book When Life Goes On, to illustrate there are creditors and debtors. So you can see the birth of this child here. This baby is assisted in the physical realm by nurses, midwives, and at the end, physicians. And in the spiritual realm, we have Brother Claudio, another of the mentors, and you have Ernest and Evelyn, which are the main characters of the book In Life Goes On by Andrea Louise. And Desiderio is going to be received. So Mariana is giving herself to receive. She agreed to receive Desiderio in her womb, and she's gonna allow that child to be adopted by Bridget and Amancio. And if you go back, little plug, go to the book, and you're gonna see there's a whole host of events that led to this planning, because Desiderio, Bridget, and Amancio, as well as Evelyn and Anders, are interrelated. When Desiderio was alive, there was a series of circumstances that God allowed those that child to be back with that couple. And the beauty here is that you have a mother who is raising the child. Now, in this world, we need a female body to so far to gestate that new soul until it comes to term, and it comes into the world, it's born, and then now you have, through the process of adoption, those spirits are going to work with one another, and they're going to be able to repay those debts back and forth. So the first school of the soul and those around us are, we're going to be entrusted to some folks, and we're going to be entrusted to some souls will be entrusted to us to take care of. And why do we return to the physical realm together? I mean, the goal of reincarnation is progress, right? Otherwise, you and I could spend millennia in the spiritual realm, but it's really the spiritual realm is the course, and the physical realm is the final exams. And you bring everything that you've learned into the daily lives, immersed in matter, where it's harder, and sometimes in the environment we are. So we come all back together, as Emmanuel reminds us that children do often do so, return in order to make readjustments with us as demanded by divine law. So there's no randomness. So the people who are in your life, who are in your family, even if you didn't get to know them, there's a reason why they're the ones who received you, and they're the ones we have to live with. Think about this implication. We are making readjustments, we're in quarantine, we're driving one another crazy, or it could be an opportunity to adjusting of those feelings or readjusting of those relationships. So those are readjustments you and I have to do. For they, the children, as well as we, need these trials and lessons that we all experience during the task of our regeneration. So these are trials. We may be around people we love, we may be around people we've hurt in the past, and then through the reincarnation and the different positions we can have in our families, we can redress some of those debts and readjust, right? So we are attracted to the family because of affinities of prior connections. That's in the questions and answers 206 of the Spirit's book. So there's no randomness in our lives. So, how can the home be a school? Home being the first school for the soul, the place that is going to export people to the community, so the communities can be a reflection of the collective of those homes, of course. The home can be a school in many different ways. We're going to address two different aspects of home as a place for learning, to as providing an environment that you and I need to progress, and a place where we can learn and develop new habits and patterns. Because we may be born in a wealth or in poverty. We may be born in a family that loves us, in a family that didn't, we feel it didn't take as much care of us as we needed, but it was mainly as a rule, as Emmanuel brings to us in chapter 11 of the book Foreign Life. Our cradle is in the world is the reflection of our needs. So the home is always that place that you and I need, even though it's very easy to say, it's harder to implement, because when we are in that home, it feels like it's not the right one. But there are many things that you and I need to learn, and there's many different ways providence takes care of us that we're not allowed to understand right when we are incarnated, and when those things may be open to our knowledge when we are in the spiritual realm. Emmanuel continues, we must also bear the certainty that we are brought or attracted to the cradle in obedience to the problems we face in our regeneration, or in the stewardship we need to be able to readjust our future destiny. So you and I were taken to those homes where we are born, to those families, or we were attracted to it, because that those are the things you and I need. That's our vibrational pattern, and that's the family that maybe in the previous lives, maybe not the most recent one, but maybe thousands of years ago we did something, and now we're finally ready and strong to be able to undergo those trials in the home together. And remember, in the Spirit's book, part 2, chapter 6, if you go in that into the choice of trials, the spirits, you and I have free will. We can choose certain things in our lives, and including the trials we want to undergo while in this lifetime and other lifetimes. And divine providence will guide us, and sometimes divine providence will also place us. Remember, he's saying we can be brought to those environments because that's the place we need to learn. In terms of learning new habits, we know that you and I are millenary souls. Emmanuel says in chapter 13 of the book Foreign Life that children on the earth bring with them the effects of their experiences acquired through various incarnations. And children are born with the moral legacy they possess before their birth on the physical plane. So, yes, we begin a new life, but we are old inside. We have a new body, we may have a new family, a new configuration for that family, where today we may be parents, tomorrow we may be sons and daughters and grandparents, so on and so forth, as beautifully described in all of the books of Andrea Louise. However, you and I come with it's almost like we come with a bunch of software installed. Those are patterns, those are habits, those are things that you and I are used to doing. So we're not brand new, even though we look pretty cute. And we also have the blessing of the forgetfulness of the past. Because if you think about your paying the debt to someone you hurt, you don't want that person to remember necessarily that you hurt them as you're this little helpless baby and you have to be taken care of to survive. So we have that moral legacy. And as even as adults, if you're watching this as an adult, you can observe yourself. You're going to see you have tendencies, the things you're most concerned about, the things you most think about, the way you act and behave. Those are things that are combined with your education at home, education in the terms of intellectual education, in terms of um, moral education. In the Gospel according to Spiritism, chapter 14, item 9, the spirits bring this beautiful phrase to us. O Spiritists, you must understand the great part that humanity has to play. You must understand that when a new body is produced, the soul which reincarnates in it has come from space in order to progress. So acquaint yourselves with your duty and then put all your love into bringing this soul nearer to God. And then I'm going to bring here to you the exact quotation from the Gospel according to Spiritism. And that's in chapter 14, that is titled Honor Your Father and Your Mother, in the part that says Instructions from the Spirits, Children's Ingratitudes and Family Ties. It's a beautiful excerpt on how parents have this task of bringing those souls near to God. And why on earth would they tell us that if it wasn't even if we couldn't do that, right? Of course we can. You and I can work daily, each and every day, a little bit to bring that child closer to God. That's the mission of parenthood. And then I would invite you to look at the example of Jesus. Now, all the Spiritists know question and answer 625 of the Spirit's book that says that Jesus is our guide and model. And Jesus taught what? He was in constant contact with the Creator, his emissary, he's taking care of us, the spiritual governor of the planet. But what does that mean in terms of our activity on our daily lives? Nonviolence, kindness, doing the good, saying yes, yes, no, no, being firm in terms of fulfilling God's laws, in fulfilling the physical laws and the human laws, but also moving in a sense of showing the kingdom of God. And in the book, Jesus in the Home, that inspired this conversation today, you have beautiful examples of Jesus' body language, the way he looked at his disciples, the way he spoke, the way he treated them. And those are examples that you and I can take on the gospel, um, from the gospel, the New and the Old Testament, and also in the Gospel according to Spiritism. So we think about bringing that soul near to God, and that's why souls are brought to us. Those are people we know. Those are people we owe things to, and that home is the place where we are all gonna go grow nearer to God. Later in the chapter 13, Emmanuel will bring to us three different things. He says, every child that is assigned to your or our guardianship is a living vessel, ever collecting daily images and experiences. So the children are paying attention to what you and I are doing, because they're collecting those images and experiences. Therefore, it's our duty to instill in children principles of justice in work, brotherhood, and good deeds through the inductive power of our own examples, in the spirit of optimism and hope. As we lovingly receive the child, we should remember that a child's heart is a precious urn that keeps collecting our mental reflexes, a trophy that will represent us in the greater future, in which is all of us will live as heirs of our own deeds. Now, this is beautiful because you see, there's this guardianship. God is loaning the soul to your care. And we know that this is not a random, there's a relationship there that needs to be worked. You have the resources for that child to progress within his or her reincarnatory plan during this lifetime. And it's important to imprint in them the behaviors. He's saying the inductive power of our examples. So being talking beautiful things about spiritism is great, but it's really important that we are thinking good things because they're collecting the mental reflexes. When you think, you project out to the universe and it comes back to you. Project to the child your feelings and your thoughts, and they're collecting. That's why it's so important, that planning. It's so important to be mindful of the responsibility that it is to receive that soul, and a blessing that it is. If you read the books of Andrea Luiz, you're going to see that that is so much work to be reincarnated. Not only have to spend all this time acquainting yourself with the family, everybody needs to agree that this is going to happen. And then there's the assistance of the spirits in terms of the fertilization of the egg. And then that child needs to be brought to term, and needs to be born, needs to be taken care of. So there's a lot of things that happen, but then thinking about the physical body and embryology and biology, as a neuroscience myself, we can think about all those chemical reactions that we studied back in high school and all the systems and how complex and beautiful this physical machine is. And that's when your brain during childhood is the most malleable. That's when you can trim the offshoots that are not so pleasant. And that's what on chapter 14 of the Gospel according to Spiritism, the spirits will tell us: observe, take care of them, and trim those not so nice tendencies. So you can trim and bring the child closer to God. Because remember, we have those tendencies. And then is if you observe something that is not brotherhood, justice, work, anything that is not reflecting the good, you can work with that child to trim that and realign. It's almost like that child's going through the track, the train tracks, and then it misalign, and you go work and put it back on its track. And the track, the final destination here on my Amtrak analogy is God. And of course, it's God through many, many reincarnations. We're all coming together in one place. And so the home can be that place. As if you're joining me now, welcome. We are talking about home, the school of the soul, the first school of the souls, the place that exports people to live in community, being a community, being a reflection of each and every individual home that we have. So there are many opportunities that you and I can make new habits and new patterns, and that there's school can be pleasant experience for the child of being in that home. Now, cycling back to the book Jesus in a Home, Jesus says that the home can be the creator of peace. World peace begins under the roof that shelters us. He says, if we can't learn to live in peace within four walls, how can nation expect to coexist in harmony? See, this is a place where you and I, now that there is this collective anxiety and fear, and Earth is, in this moment of transition, the first place where you can be peaceful is at home. You can learn to tolerate the indulgence that the spirits talk about, and how to love one another. And of course, I'm here, you know, um, talking to you. And usually, speakers are the one who need the most, right? And if you listen to all the speakers, we're just bringing you new concepts and trying to bridge the concepts in the books to our daily life. So the first thing would be silence as charity, non-violence. Get the book Jesus in a Home, and you'll be amazed to see the examples of how Jesus behaved and act. And that's important for all of us. So One last way we can have the home be a place for learning, a school for learning, is that we can work to improve the spiritual environments of our homes. If your home be small, if your home being large, your home being anywhere in the world, because nowadays we can see the conditions of different folks, right? It's the pandemic is exacerbating the differences between everybody. So wherever in the world you are, you can improve the spiritual environment. In this case, I'm going to focus specifically in the home, but if it's at work, you can always improve the spiritual environment of the work by first praying, be mindful of your own thoughts, making sure they're good, replacing the negative ones with the good ones, because the place you and I are in this lifetime, we still have some negative thoughts as well. So we can work daily to improve that the vibrational pattern. And when we do the gospel at home, which is the suggestion here, or when we are studying, we always want to make sure that we have a little bit of water with us, as the spirits can magnetize the water and infuse the molecules of the water with um, remedies for our improvement. Here's a scene from the book Messengers in the house of Miss Isabel. And Isabel is a medium. She also has 5 children, and here she is in the weekly exercise of the gospel home, where spirits that are familiar to us can come and visit. Her husband is here in the background. The mentor of the place of the Spiritist center that she's connected to is right there. And you have suffering spirits that participate in the gospel home, that can perceive some of the teachings. And then what you have is the opportunity to attune yourself in the higher realms, and then you improve in the spiritual environment of anywhere and everywhere you have. So you can always have a book like this in physical form or in the phone. We have this nice computers with us at all times. Use the technology we have to have that podcast playing, that is a good one, to have that spiritist talk on the background, so everybody around you can benefit from being in this improved spiritual environment. Because remember, the home is the school, the first school for the souls. So our first homes were our schools. And then we do this exercise of understanding who is in that home with us, and forgiving one another if we feel like there's something lacking, and always being very grateful for all of those who came before us, and that brought us these teachings, that taught us everything that we know, and so that we can progress and move forward. Now, friends, it is always an honor to be here with you. And as customary, we are always in these sessions connected with you today and always. We can always be connected through Facebook, through the YouTube channel. ssrichmond.org is our website. The United States Spirit Federation has a list of all the Spiritist centers, or most of the Spiritist centers in the United States. There are other Spiritist federations all over the globe. So seek out, use the technology, use the search engines to seek that help that you may be in need of. And as we model the structure of the gospel home, we begin with a message, we do a prayer, we discuss a different topic, and then we always close with a final prayer. So if again, I invite you to join me. And if safe to do so, we always recommend close your eyes and repeat mentally the words of the prayer, mine or anywhere else, anybody else's that you may be following. All right, dear friends. Dear Mother, Father God, we thank you today for the blessed opportunity of this reincarnation. We thank you for the homes that have received us, for our parents, grandparents, uncles, aunts, cousins, all the caregivers that have care for us, so we may be together today. In their own ways, they've done the best. And we thank for their sacrifices towards us. And we ask you for faith, patience, and strength to undergo our trials together in both realms, our spiritual families and our physical families. May you, dear Lord, bless the homes of all of those present in the planet Earth as we go from a planet of trials and expiations to a planet of regeneration. We ask you for your kindness, for showers of healing light, soothing balms for our physical and spiritual bodies, to be bestowed upon all of those on the earth. We ask you that you reach each and every home, from the most humble to the largest and most opulent, for those who do not have a home but still live in families. We're never alone, and we ask that your messengers travel all throughout the globe to console and heal those who are in need, giving us the strength to undergo these difficult periods together. We thank our dear Mother Mary for bringing to this life, to this physical life, our Master Jesus, who cares for each and every one of us, each and every precious life. We ask you, dear Lord, that you console those who may be thinking of suicide. We ask you that you visit those areas of suffering and tell them that they matter and they're important. May our spiritual guides be with us, using us as instruments of your will to serve others during this life. And with your permission, always asking for your protection. We end today's studies, and so be it. Dear friends, thank you so much for being with me. God willing, I'll be here again next week talking about family ties, and we have a wonderful guest that will be with us next week. I hope you can join us. Please like, subscribe, share, not because we are all about numbers, but we really need to spread the good news of Jesus and his beautiful teachings that console all of us with all of those that we love and care for. God willing, I hope you have a wonderful week. Until next time.